Hi, so welcome to the video training for water power in the Rockin' Rocket system. So as usual for any regular workshop, you have to start with the 3 golden rules, which are kids have to raise their hands when they want to talk, don't touch the equipment, and also the last one is to have fun. Also make sure that always tell the kids the week prior to this workshop, ask the kids to bring their altitude tracker and altitude calculator for every class. That way they'll be able to use it once they build it in the How High workshop. Okay, and since we're going to launch rockets, you will need all the equipment that comes with in the water power kit, which is, there's a bottle that comes with it. There's 4 fins, you only need 3. You have a bung, you have a bung connector, the pump connector, you have the bug connector, you need a tube, you need also the fin support, you need a bicycle pump. Okay, of course you need also water in a pitcher, and some of the experiments that we will do with the rockets will require dry ice, so you need your cooler with a tiny piece of dry ice, along with the dry ice equipment that we need, which are the gloves, hammer, screwdriver, goggles. You also need a bucket. And you need all kind of different shapes of plastic bottles. And also every time you launch a rocket, you need cones. That way it is the area, that the restricted area where the kids has to be as far away from the rocket to avoid any problems. So for the water power workshop, you have to start explaining the pressure concept, which the pressure concept is a force of molecules that are colliding against each other and against a surface. And pressure is a force that always reacts to stay stable. So if the pressure goes down, it will react to raise it back up, and in the other case, if the pressure goes up, it will react to come back down. Okay, it doesn't like changes, like to stay, keep it stable. So you start, first of all, after you talk about the pressure concept, you can talk about the compressible flow, which is whenever a fluid is able to change its volume. Okay, basically when the volume goes down, the pressure will build up, and in the other circumstance, when the volume goes up, the pressure goes down. Okay. Most of the gas will feel that effect. Okay. So the air, oxygen, carbon dioxide, most of the gas, like I said, will feel the compressible flow. So for gases, most of them, when the pressure goes down, the pressure will build up. Now, after that, you can explain the uncompressible flow concept, which is, for most of liquids, is that it's a fluid that doesn't change volume, basically. So regardless if the volume goes up or down, the pressure will not be affected by it. So most of the liquids will follow this concept. So that's why for the rocket water power, the water rocket, we're going to use both. We're going to use water, and also we're going to use gas. Okay, that way when we put water, the volume is smaller, that way we can build up more pressure in the bottle, that way the rocket will be able to fly, to be launched. Along with that, you can also explain 2 of Newton's law. Okay, the first law, which is the inertia law, which says any object that doesn't move or is already in movement will keep its course unless another force pulls it or push it another force affects what's already in action. So this is the inertia laws by the first law of Isaac Newton. You can also explain the third law, which is the action-reaction law. So basically, if let's say for a balloon, you blow air in your balloon, and when you let the nose go, the air will come out one way, and this is the action, the air comes out one way, and the balloon or the object will move forward the opposite direction from where the air is coming out. So if the air comes out that way, the object will move forward the opposite direction. Okay. So those are the two rules that you can explain to the kids, so they can understand the concept how the rocket will work. Now, also the factors that you can play with that affects the pressure. There are three things. There are the numbers of particles that affects the pressure. So the more particles we have, the more molecules will collide between each other and against the surface, and the more pressure will be building up. The second thing is, of course, like we said, it's the volume. Okay, so the smaller the volume becomes, the more pressure builds up into whatever the container you are lowering the volume. And the third notion that can affect the pressure is the temperature. In our workshop, we're not going to touch that, but it is a possibility if the kids want to know if there's something beside the volume and the amount of particle that can affect the pressure. You can tell them the temperature does. So the temperature, basically what it does, it gives more energy, and the more energy the molecules have, they're gonna have more energy to move more. The more they'll be able to move, they'll be colliding against each other and against the surface more times, and by doing so, the pressure will build up as well. So, basically, the way it works that you have to assemble the rocket is that, first of all, you need to take your fin support, and you take 3 of your 4 fins. Okay, so this side here, that's the side that you screw on the bottom, okay? And this side is the side that goes outside. Okay, now what you need to do is to put the fins that way. You push it in for the 3 fins. Okay, so once you put the fins on, you can put the fin support, you can screw it that way. Okay, that way the bottle will be able to stand as well. Which you will put on the crate. The crate will make sure that will stabilize the rocket as well. So once this is done, what you need to do is to attach your pump to the system. So you need, first of all, to connect your tube. This is the tube that you have, and this is the tube that comes with the pump. So you take your tube connector, okay, and you connect it to the pump. No, it's on the wrong side. It's that side. Okay, so it's really important to do that. Okay, because if ever while you're pumping, for whatever the reason, the rocket falls over, there's a lot of wind, whatever the reason is that requires you to stop, you stop pumping and you unlock this. That way the air comes out of the bottle, and that way the rocket doesn't launch when for whatever the reason you don't want the rocket to launch. You have to unlock this, so the air, the pressure that's building up in your rocket will get down, and that way you can do whatever you need to do. If the rocket fell over, you can set it back up, make sure that the setup is good. Now after that, you just start over by pumping up after you make sure to lock it. Okay, so this goes into the tube here. Okay, And like I said, that part, it will connect your tube that you have there to the pump. Like I said, this is your security valve. For whatever the reason, if you have to stop, this is what you have to unlock. And if you're ready to launch the rocket, you lock it. Okay. Now, once you do that, you have to connect your tube to the bunk. Okay. So for that, you need to use the bunk connector. You have to put it here. Okay, and you will be able to assemble the tube to your bunk. Okay. So once this is done, what you have to do is to you fill your bottle with water, and after that you will be able to attach the bunks to it. So let's say the recommended amount of water that we have to put in this bottle, the bottle that comes with the water rocket set, is the second line that comes from the bottom. Okay, so you have to fill up until up there. That's the recommended amount that you have to put. But with the kids, what you'll be able to play with is the amount of liquid that you put it, to see if the amount will affect how high the rocket will go. So you can put less, you can put more. So you can try those experiments with the kids and see the effect that will come after that. So I will fill up the bottle to the recommended amount. Okay. Now once you have that, you just put your bunk in like this. Okay, once it's attached to the tube, and you will turn it over. Okay, that way the water will be over there, and you will be able to start pumping and to launch your rocket. Now something else that you could do also, I did talk about the dry ice that we need. Instead of pumping, basically what we do by pumping air into the bottle, what we pumping in the bottle is carbon dioxide, and dry ice is made of carbon dioxide. Okay. So this goes into the tube here. Okay. And like I said, that part, it will connect your tube that you have there to the pump. Like I said, this is your security valve. For whatever the reason, if you have to stop, this is what you have to unlock. And if you're ready to launch the rocket, you lock it. Okay. Now, once you do that, you have to connect your tube to the bunk. Okay. So for that, you need to use the bunk connector. You have to put it here. Okay. And you will be able to assemble the tube to your bunk. Okay. So once this is done, what you have to do is to you fill your bottle with water, and after that you'll be able to attach the bunks to it. So let's say the recommended amount of water that we have to put in this bottle, the bottle that comes with the water rocket set, is the second line that comes from the bottom. Okay, so you have to fill up until up there. That's the recommended amount that you have to put. But with the kids, what you'll be able to play with is the amount of liquid that you put it, to see if the amount will affect how high the rocket will go. So you can put less, you can put more. So you can try those experiments with the kids and see the effect that will come after that. So I will fill up the bottle to the recommended amount. Okay. Now once you have that, you just put your bunk in like this. Okay, once it's attached to the tube, and you will turn it over. Okay, that way the water will be over there, and you will be able to start pumping and to launch your rocket. Now, something else that you could do also, I did talk about the dry ice that we need. Instead of pumping, basically what we do by pumping air into the bottle, what we pump it in the bottle is carbon dioxide, and dry ice is made of carbon dioxide. So what you could do also is, instead of pumping this, you use a stopper that doesn't have a hole, because the bunk has a hole, so you can connect the pump and the tubes to it to pump air in it. But when you use dry ice, you need to use a stopper, okay, that doesn't have a hole. That way you put a tiny piece like as big as this, not too big, okay. That way you put the dry ice in it, you put the stopper, then you turn it over, and right away it takes a few seconds for the carbon dioxide to build a lot of pressure in the bottle. So once this is done, the stopper will pump out, and like the Newton's third law, the action-reaction, water will come out of this, because the air will push the water out of the bottle, and by doing so, if the water comes that way, just like action-reaction law of Newton, if something comes out that way, the rocket will go the opposite direction. So if you turn it over, the water will go down, so the rocket will go up. Okay, so those are basically the main concept about the water power workshop. So like I said earlier, the different experiments that you could do is that you can change the amount of water you put in the bottle. You can try also with them to pump it without any water at all, to see if the rocket will go as high as if you would have water in it. So you can change the volume of the water you put in. No water at all, only air, you only pump air. You can try with dry ice. You can try also with different shapes of bottles. Okay? So that one is 300 milliliters. You can try a 2 liter bottle. You can try smaller bottles than that. I think that one is 200 milliliters. So you can use also different shapes of bottle that to see if the rocket will go as high or will go lower, then to see the effect on how high or how low the rocket will go up, will be launched. Okay, so this is for the first part of the workshop video. Now the second part will be outside to launch the rocket, to show you and to just talk about also the different security tips that you need. That way everything is done safely. So for the part inside, we're done. We're gonna go outside to launch the rocket, so you will be able to see how it looks like when you launch the rocket. Ready? Okay, so this is the second part of the water power workshop. So once you are outside, as I told you, inside we'll use this tray as a platform for the rocket launch. So I already put the recommended amount of water in the bottle, and I connected the bunk into the bottle. So before you launch any rocket at all, you have to make sure that there's no wires in the way, and there's no trees or branches around you. Okay. Also, you have to make sure that, especially for this one, you have to make sure it's not too windy, because if it is too windy, the rocket will keep on falling over. And plus, if it's really windy, the rocket is not gonna go up, it's gonna be pushed by the wind. So you have less chance to have the bottle back, or the rocket that you're launching back. Okay, so those are the main safeties tips that you have to follow. Of course, you can go through the manual, all the instructions, all the safeties tips are there. I just named you and then name you the main one, but there are others in the manual. So with that being said, let's do the fun stuff, launch the rocket. So it's connected. I'm going to pump air on this side and we'll see what happens. There you go. So the rocket was launched. Also, you can warn the kids before you do that not to run after the rocket once it's in the air, because the focus will be on the rocket. If they run around, they might be hit. They might hit other kids. They might hit something, a wall, a car, or they might be hit by a car or anything that's moving. So that's why we use the security cones. So they are far away from the rocket in case something bad happens there. They're not going to be affected. And also they have to stay there until the rocket hits the ground. Once it hits the ground, then if it is safe, they will be able to go get the rocket. Okay, so that was the first test. Now we're going to try with dry ice.
Gloves are frozen. It's hard for me to put the cap on and twist it. Okay. All right. So okay, right now I'm seeing the bubbles in the water, and now we just have to wait for the rocket to launch. Okay, go. So the rocket launched and landed into a safe area. I gave my daughter the go signal, and she's running to get the rocket. And of course, when we use dry ice, the effect of the rocket launch is not as big as if we would use in a pump, because it doesn't build enough gas in it for the rocket to launch higher. Okay. All right, then that's it for the video training for the water.
So the take home for this workshop is the air blaster. So in this take home, the kids will have 3 rockets, but just to assemble it, I will use only one of them. So you will take the base and put the pump into it, in the hole, the big hole you have on top. Okay. And you will take this piece, and the long part of it is where the kids will put the rocket. The short part of this piece, you will push it in, and all the kids will have to do is to do this. Okay. So that's the take home that the kids will have to go back home after the water power workshop.